place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Please hit the bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give that video a thumbs up as we go along if you're liking it. Hello Michael, nice to see you. Well, tomorrow is International Celebrate Being Single Day. Yes, February the 14th, 2019. International Celebrate Being Single Day is a day I founded on February the 14th, 2015, so that no single person in the world would ever have to feel lonely again on Valentine's Day. Instead, they could celebrate it as their very own special day under Celebrate Being Single Day. So yeah, usually every year on International Celebrate Being Single Day, I take myself out on a self date. If you go back and search through the videos on this channel, you'll find a video called Create Your Own Destiny by a person called Laurie NG. And she came to film me for her student documentary about asexuality, and she allowed me to put it on this channel. It's got 1,100 and something views at the moment. And so it's about 10 minutes long. It's professionally done by her for her degree. And it's really, really good documentary, because not only is it a documentary about asexuality, it actually documents me celebrating International Celebrate Being Single Day in 2016. So I'm going on a trip around Bristol Zoo, and I'm filming it for my channel whilst I'm actually going around it. Bear in mind, I didn't start this channel till October 2015, so that would have been filmed for my Quirky Books TV channel, which is a channel I've had since before this one, but I'm always live streaming on this one continuously, whereas that one I only post a video about once a week, sometimes less than that. So this is a channel where I'm mostly at and consistently at every single day throughout the whole year at the moment. So yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this year, because this year, for the very, very first time ever, I'm going to be celebrating International Celebrate Being Single Day with an actual other single person. And this person happens to be asexual, and they are one of my best asexual guy friends. Yes, I do find it ironic that we're both romantic asexuals going out on the most romantic day of the whole year, but to celebrate being single, because obviously it's the same day as Valentine's Day, which a lot of couples will be out then. But I'm usually on my own, and I'm usually celebrating loving myself, and I'm usually eating food, going out to cinema or zoos or aquariums. And this year is no different in terms of I'm going out of my city like usual, and I'm going to the aquarium in Plymouth. So I would have gone to the aquarium in Plymouth regardless of whether my friend could come with me or not. But I am super thrilled he's coming with me, and I've got some company this year, because it's going to be very different, and I get on really well with him. He's a really lovely person. He watches this channel. Hello, Andy, if you're watching. I think he's tucked up in bed by now, because he's getting ready for tomorrow, getting up early, because he's on the same train as I'll be. The volume on your microphone keeps changing. One moment your voice is low and the next it's loud, but I can hear that you're not actually speaking quiet or louder. That's weird. I haven't got a microphone. I never use a microphone. I've just got the microphone in my iPad. Michael, I never have a microphone attached to me, apart from if I'm appearing in a documentary and they attach it to me. So I just use the microphone in my iPad. Let me see if I can... I don't... Then the microphone in your iPad. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Let me see if I can move it a little bit closer to me. Is that any better? Can you hear me okay now? So I brought it closer to me. I've moved the angle slightly of it. Hopefully. I don't think I've ever had a problem with that before, have I? I know the sound is a little bit weird. I don't think it's the distance that's doing it. Oh, is it because it's live? Because I do know I've had some problems with my sound when it's been live. Like my voice isn't always going with the words correctly. So I don't even know where the thing is on this. Yeah. I don't even... Sometimes it's because it's live and my Wi-Fi isn't very good, but there's no lag on it today like there usually often is. I don't know what to do. There you go, I blew on it. You probably heard a wind noise because I blew on the microphone. I hope it stays good. Anyway, so I'm preparing for my friend, to see my friend tomorrow. So we're going to the aquarium in Plymouth in the UK. And I suppose we can ignore it for now. Yeah, I think we're going to have to, Michael, because I can't hear anything on my end. Let me see if I can... I don't think I can turn the sound up. Hang on a minute. Yeah, the sound's fully turned up, but sometimes I do it with the sound off, like right down for a live stream. Tell me if you can hear me. Can you still hear me all right now? Because I've muted it actually on the iPad, but usually when I mute it, it means I can still talk. But by muting it, it means it's muted out all the other sounds. Like if I've got Twitter notifications. Actually, I haven't got Twitter on this. You can hear me. I can hear you. Oh, right. I think that's why. I think I need to mute it when I'm doing my live streams. So, because what I usually do is I turn the sound off of my device, iPad, and I talk and it still records it while I'm live streaming. But I have the actual sound on silent, mute. So maybe that's what it was, because I had got it up, and sometimes you get interference of other apps and things then. So that might be why. So anyway, I don't know if that's why, because the problem wasn't not being able to hear you. Yeah, but as soon as I switched it over to the mute, you can hear me fine now, can't you? There's no problem with distortion of sound, is that correct? Because usually what happens is I put it on mute before I go live, and then I talk like this, but this mutes it, mutes the background noise of the iPad, if you know what I mean. So just focus on my voice. So anyway, hopefully the sound's sorted now. Sorry about that. So yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, I'm celebrating International Celebrate Being Single Day, but I'm going to the aquarium in Plymouth. Usually I go somewhere like that on my own, but this year I'm going with an asexual friend who watches this channel, so I wanted to say hello to Andy. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, because so far your voice is one volume rather than changing volume, so I think it's fixed. Good. So I'll make sure I put it on mute next time, Michael, before I go live, which is what I usually do. So, but I just forgot. So yeah, so basically the aquarium's going to be amazing. I went there for my birthday on my own last year in April, and I got a year's pass, so it means that I shouldn't have to pay to go in tomorrow, although it says provide some sort of photograph to put on there, but I don't have a printer working at the moment. As you know, I'm still saving up for a printer. I kindly got Roger donated some money towards my printer. I'm saving up for a commercial one because I have to get a big one, so I can't print out a photograph of any of my photographs. So you know, I've got photographic ID on me, but yeah, weird. Anyway, hopefully they accept it, because I think they did it before when I had a year's pass without adding another photograph, as long as I got ID on me. So yeah, so I'm going there tomorrow. I have to get up at 7 and then catching the 9:41 from the main train station, and then Annie's going to actually be on the train waiting for me. So then we're going to be, you know, I've got to find out what carriage is on. Then we're going to be going to Plymouth together. We've got about 40 minutes walk at least, because the bridge was out of action. There used to be a bridge that went over the whole harbour, like to get to the actual aquarium, but it doesn't do that anymore. So we have to go all the way around the side of the harbour on the like long trail walk to get there and back again. So it's going to be good though, because Andy loves walking, which is a bonus for me, because I know that he's going to be happy doing that. And I think we could possibly get a bus there, but for some reason I just like walking there. I just like, it's like exercise, isn't it? It's good exercise, you know. And you know, why pay more to go on a bus when you've got legs? That's what I think. It's fresh air does you good being near the sea, I think. And so, and then after we've had food, we're going to be going for, after we've had the aquarium, we're going to be going for food in Nando's, which is a chicken restaurant. It actually does sell vegetarian dishes there as well. And I love Nando's. It's one of my very, very favourite places to go. And my mum gave me a little bit of money to put towards the food that I'm having. Well, to pay for most of it actually, which I'm really glad about, because I spent another load. I did have some money put by, but I spent that on snacks tonight for taking with me. So that my mum gave me £10 to put for a meal in Nando's. It usually costs £11 something, but it's really nice of her. She's like, oh, that's for your trip. She doesn't say International Celebrate Being Single Day. She goes, oh, that's for your day out on Valentine's Day. I'm like, thanks, Mum. But bless her. But I thought it was really sweet of her. So she knows that I'm gonna have some food. I'm taking my lunch with me because I get food allergies and can't eat in their canteen. But yeah, the aquarium's really good. I find it very peaceful there. I love looking at all the different coloured fishes. Tomorrow, providing my battery and my Wi-Fi is fine on my phone, then I will be filming live in the aquarium for a little while for the live stream tomorrow. So it won't be at the usual time tonight. It will be in the daytime sometime. And Andy doesn't want to be on camera, but he might wave at you just with his hand if you're lucky. So, yeah, and obviously providing I can get a signal in there. I have before got a signal through most of it. So hopefully I should again. I forgot, I have good personal news. I came out as asexual to my dad yesterday and he surprised me by saying he's suspected for a long time. It doesn't change anything. Yes! Woo! Oops, I better be careful. My housemates might wake up. Oh, that's amazing, Michael. You shocked me. I didn't think you would do that. That's great. I'm really proud of you. You've been watching my channel, haven't you? Encouraging you to come out as asexual. You must have been paying attention to what I said because that's really shocking. I remember months ago you were never like that. You were like, no, I could never tell my family ever. Ever. I could never do that. Never. They wouldn't understand. I remember. Do you remember that, Michael, months ago when you said that? You're like, I couldn't ever tell them. But yeah, oh my gosh, that's great. I'm so proud of you. That's really, really wonderful. Oh, congratulations, Michael. Oh, you remember. Love to see your aquarium, which is awesome. Heather, did you hear? Michael's just come out to his dad about being asexual. And do you remember months ago? I think you were here, Heather, when Michael was like, oh, I wouldn't tell any of my family, never. They wouldn't understand. And his dad accepted it straight away and said he suspected for a while. Isn't that awesome? I'm so pleased for you, Michael. I wish I could give you a virtual hug. I don't know if you do hugs. Just a pretend hug then. with loads of space around us. But yeah, well done, Michael. I came out to my dad and he beat me. Henry Stevens. Oh, brilliant. So yeah, I'm really proud of you. That's amazing. Wow, that's incredible. Oh man, I feel like having a coming out party, especially for you on this channel now. That's like, really good. I'm so pleased for you. Because there's a guy called Martin who watches this channel and he hasn't told his immediate family yet. So hopefully it'll encourage him to come out to his family if he can pluck up the courage. But yeah, it'd be great for him, I think. So yeah, he's in my Asexual Perspectives book actually. So yeah, I'm so proud of you. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day because like I said, it'll be the first time I've actually celebrated being single with an actual friend who happens to be asexual, which is all the better. It takes courage, Michael. Yeah, it really does. Definitely. It really does. It's really good. It's really good. But I think you just, so long as you're really confident in what you say. See, the thing is when I first came out as asexual, to my parents, they were really cool about it. On the second phone conversation, they said, it sounds like you. They always knew I was different, though. They didn't really understand why I didn't like sex. They didn't get it. They didn't understand why I didn't like nudity either. Now they're like, ah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she's that. When the asexual documentary was on Sky News recently, it was my mum who phoned me up and goes, oh, asexuality, it's on TV. It's on TV. It's on TV, you know? And my mum's like, what, you are? It's on TV. And she was like so excited to tell me. It was like, oh my gosh, my mum doesn't get excited about much. So it's really unusual. Like, I remember when I did my A-levels and I got my grades and my mum didn't even blink much. It's like, oh, okay. I said, Mum, I got this. And I phoned her up and I was really happy. And my mum's like, oh, okay. But then when she saw the documentary on Sky News about asexuality, she's like, why aren't you on there? You should be on there. I thought, oh, isn't that sweet of my mum to be like that? I thought it was so cute. And yeah, so that was really nice. So she's like raving about asexuality being on Sky News. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow. It's very different to a parent accepting it than like jumping up and down nearly with excitement. My mum doesn't get excited about anything. the first time I've seen her excited about much to do with me, to be honest. So, yeah. So, yeah, let's have a woo. Stop having, man. He didn't accept me being asexual, but I've never accepted him doing my paper round. Oh, yeah. It's really good that Michael's come out. It's great. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's really good. Would you ever have an asexual relationship then, Michael? Are you absolutely not interested in a relationship because you're aromantic? Because I noticed on your Avon profile, you've got 2 other things besides aromantic, haven't you, on there? I noticed that. 2 other types of descriptions about your label, you know, how you label yourself. I found that very interesting. So, because I know you've always said that you're not interested in relationships. In my case, I'm not interested in a relationship. Good for you. There's a girl like that was at the UK Asexuality conference who was aromantic. She's not interested in having a relationship in her entire life. Never. She doesn't need it, doesn't like it, doesn't want it, which I think is good. It saves you a lot of hassle, I tell you. So yeah, obviously tomorrow I'm celebrating being single with my one of my best friends, Andy, and we're going to the aquarium, we're going to Nando's. And why should you celebrate being single? Because it's so much better than sitting there being miserable about being single, isn't it? Because I know there's going to be lots of asexuals, and not just asexuals. I didn't create International Celebrate Being Single Day just for asexuals. It's something I created before I was heavily involved in doing the asexual stuff I do now. So this is back in February 2015. But I didn't start this channel till October 2015. So it was an idea I was saying on this channel. I don't know if you saw the video, but I kind of got that idea about it when I was having a cake. When I could eat cake, when I was that was before I was 19 years old. And I'm an omnisexual, which according to Avon's definition, someone who doesn't experience sexual, romantic, sensual, or aesthetic attraction might put them separately to avoid confusion. Oh, right, okay. Wow. That's incredible. I think you should have a slot on this show and tell everyone. I think you might be a bit shy for that. But yeah, it'd be great. So why should you celebrate being singles? Because if you celebrate being single, it gives you a lot more personal power over being single. So whenever I go out on Celebrate Being Single Day and there's people celebrating Valentine's Day, I don't get jealous that they're couples. I actually am really happy for them. You know, the best thing you can do in your life is to not look at people in relationships. You know, I'm romantic. I'm hugely romantic. So I could be going, oh, look at all them couples. But I don't. I look at them couples as thinking, beautiful. They've got, you should do a joint Skype call so Michael comes on screen alongside you to give you an insight about his life. Sorry for the distraction. I was just answering your question of why I have the 2 additional labels. Yeah, it'd be great if Michael wanted to come on the screen with me, but I'm not sure he does. Plus, I've never really done a split screen Skype interview before. It would be interesting though. Be really cool. So yeah, getting back to celebrating, you'd be too shy. I thought you would. That's what my friend Andy said tomorrow. He's like, I don't want to go on camera. I'm not ready to be a superstar like you yet, Sandra. Oh, dearie me, it's funny. So going back to being single, so when I'm out because you've got to have an idea of how it is, right? So when I'm out celebrating being single on February the 14th, obviously there's couples around me. Like, for example, in Nando's, when I go in Nando's, there'll be couples. Usually I'm sat on my own. Like, I have some company tomorrow. So usually I'm sat on my own. And, you know, some people might think that's strange, but I don't care. That's just the thing. I really couldn't care because I absolutely love myself these days. I didn't love myself. And in the past, and I saw some people on my Facebook profile, some really nice asexual friends that I've got on there, and I was posting about, you know, if you really truly love yourself, then you're never lonely because you've got that love for yourself. And, you know, I was asking them questions like, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and blew yourself a kiss? Because you went on a self-date to a Holocaust memorial. Oh, I wouldn't find that very romantic or comfortable, personally. But I did have a friend when I was at school who wasn't asexual as far as I know. Because this is when I was at school. And she liked going to visit gravestones and graveyards. It wasn't my type of thing, but I went with her because I happened to be going there. I happened to be walking with her. And she's like, oh, can we stop off and look at all these gravestones? I'm not into that at all, personally, but I'm like, okay, just hurry up and let's get out of here. It's getting dark. I'm getting creeped out. But yeah, so going back to celebrating being single, because obviously I want to talk to you about this before tomorrow. So obviously when you're getting ready to celebrate being single, you still, you know, it's a proper date. So I would usually be doing this date with myself. I would have been going to the aquarium anyway and out for Nando's, but I'm glad Annie's coming with me. So I've got all the train times. I got my snacks because I've got food allergies. Money for after, you know, the evening meal. Food for lunchtime that I'm taking with me. You know, I've got my bag already packed for that. Bottles of water. I've got juices that I bought myself today. So orange juice, because it's good to keep vitamin C, and fruits. It's better than, you know, I've got some dried cranberries as well. So I've got my healthy snacks as well. They're all pretty much healthy. I haven't got any crisps on me this time. So the thing with your volume going up and down is back. Okay, Michael. There's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately, because I haven't touched it. It's probably because I'm live streaming, I'm guessing. Thank you for letting me know, though. All I can do is apologise. So on Facebook, I mean, obviously I'm talking louder now because I've talking a bit louder to, like, you know, change my tones, otherwise they get boring. I have food allergy as well. I can't eat ligma or tushma, but that's it. Most foods don't contain it. All right, I can't have MSG, monosodium glutamate. Which is in a lot of foods, crisps included, apart from plain crisps usually, like ready salted. It's in nearly every flavoured crisp because it's like part of wheat, so it's really bad. So obviously, if you are out with a friend and you have got special needs, disabilities, dietary requirements, you've got to make sure, and you've got to make sure you're both catered for. So obviously, because I usually self-date, you know, I can take care of myself. Obviously, I'm going out with a friend, I have to make sure he's all right too. So, but I'm really looking forward to it because he likes walking, he likes going to the aquarium, he likes Nando's. So we're doing stuff that we both like together, and this is what I'm really looking forward to as well. Not only is one of my bestest friends who's asexual, which is great because I'd rather go with an asexual guy than out somewhere with a sexual guy, because a sexual guy will really not be just my friend. Do you know what I mean? Most sexual guys will want more than friendship. And that's where their mind will be headed. So it's much better going with an asexual friend because, you know, we can literally both celebrate being single together, both celebrate self-love, which is what it's all about. And, you know, like I said, I was posting on my Facebook profile about, you know, when was the last time you blew yourself a kiss? Like, I changed my mindset. I used something called neuro-linguistic programming years ago, NLP. You can look it up online. And it's all about rewiring your brain. So, you know, like, if you're a kid and you suffer depression like I did, you can be very down about yourself. You can hate yourself, dislike yourself, have no confidence or lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, feel really bad, have suicidal thoughts and all that type of thing. And you don't want that in your life. So basically, you have to reprogram your mind. You have to retrain it to teach yourself to say good things to yourself, positive things to yourself, so that you get out that frame of mind, because you cannot stay in that frame of mind your whole entire life without it causing you a lot of upset and pain. And once you realise that you are causing that upset and pain to yourself because you're keeping your head like that. It might be other people that's put all that stuff in your head, because it usually is. You don't wake up out of the womb and suddenly think, I hate myself, do you? No, it's people that have conditioned and programmed you like that from a young age because of what they've said to you, their actions towards you. You know, they've hurt you and upset you and caused you pain in your life, and you've took that whole pain and discomfort and horribleness and it's welled inside you, and it's sort of stuck there. And until someone says something to unravel it, you're kind of stuck with it until you see a different way of life. Unfortunately, not everyone's in the position where they've got someone in their life telling them, you need to unravel this, you need to change all this bad thinking that you've been given for years. You need to change you know, everything that you're paper. Sorry, I'm getting distracted now by chat. So you need to change everything, you know, that you're doing. So you need to reprogram your mind for success. So nowadays, like, I retrained my mind back in 2012 so that I would stop being unhappy being single, because up till 2012, well, up to the end of 2011, so 2012, my life-changing year, I thought I couldn't be alone. I was always in relationships since a teenager. I've been in heterosexual relationships for half of my life, and you know, that is it's not good for an asexual person to be like that if they're sex repulsed and if they don't even know they're asexual. It's quite damaging. But you know, so hello Dad, hello Henry's dad. I'm having a really decent conversation with everyone about self-love. So yeah, so basically this is about self-love. It's really important. So you know, so I was explaining that as when you're a young person, that you can have a lot of people affecting your life. I was bullied, for example, at school, so I had a lot of negativity, a lot of people saying horrible stuff to me over a process of a couple of years, for example. You know, I had my friend, so-called best friend, her friend started bullying me with his friend, and it was horrible. It's quite a lonely place, a lonely time in my life, but obviously all that type of trauma from years ago, it adds up. And then especially if you go to another school where you're bullied, and things just carry on. So you have to reprogram your mind, and only you can decide to do that. And you have to take charge of your life, because you have to realize that in your life you are the only one that can actually solve your problems in life. You can listen to people, you can get as much help like psychologically and professional help. Right, thank you, Michael. Yeah, so you know, so they're the ones who you know, when you know, you can get a lot of help out there psychologically, which some people obviously do need, but the only person that can actually solve their own problems is themselves. And so you need to actually you know, take the bull by the horn, as it were, and actually start retraining your brain for success. And you will need someone probably to help you with that, some tools, techniques. You'll need to read certain books, go on certain courses. And I've reprogrammed my mind, so absolutely happy to be single now. I love myself implicitly. I love the way I look. I love my life. I love my personality. I love the way I speak. So it doesn't matter what anyone else says to me. You know, it just it doesn't matter what anyone else says to me. I'm really strong in my own right. Do you see what I mean? But it takes a long time to get to that stage. But you have to start saying loving words to yourself. So you have to like look in the mirror and say, I love you, blow yourself kisses, say you look gorgeous, say you're kind, considerate, caring. You know, you have to list positive stuff about yourself. You have to realise in your life you've got to spend the rest of your life with yourself. And you can either do it hating yourself and being bad and negative, which is not going to do you any good. It's going to carry on causing you more and more pain, more and more anxiety, more and more depression. Or you can actually decide, I'm not going to be this person. I'm going to take charge of my life and take charge of that person, which is me, and I'm going to actually change my life. And that gives you your personal power back. But until you know, you can't, you can take a fish to water, but you can't make it swim. Isn't that what they say? Or was it a different animal or something? But you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So yeah, any of those things. Do you know what I mean? You can't force someone to do something. The horse, yeah. I thought the fish one was funny, considering fish have to have water to live. But that's what you don't realise. By being negative towards yourself, you're slowly killing off your soul. You know, even if you're physically alive, as in you've got your body structure, you're killing your inside of your soul. And it's only once that you reconnect with your soul and realise there's a beautiful being in there that's perfectly imperfect. So, you know, I've got weaknesses. I know I have. I've also got strengths. I've got a far out personality that some people think, that's great, I want to listen to her, she's interesting, she's not boring like everyone else. Or some people are like, I don't want to listen to her because she just talks and I don't like her tone of voice or whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm not here to please everyone in life. And if you have to understand in your life, you're never ever going to please someone. You're never going to please everyone. And the only person you really need to please is yourself, because you're the one who's got to spend the most time with you. You literally have to be in a relationship with yourself, and you kind of have to think like that. Like, I kind of think that I'm in a although I'm not in the exact same relationship, because, you know, I still desire a romantic partner, I'm really super romantic with myself, you know. So I'm kind of like in a relationship with myself, but in a best friend soulmate type of relationship with myself, you know. But I am super romantic with myself. So tomorrow I'll still be in a super romantic mood. Well, it's today now, isn't it? Happy International Celebrate Being Single Day, and happy Valentine's Day. So, you know, I'll still be loved up with myself. So it'll be kind of weird, because I'll be loved up by myself, but have some company. I'll be giving off romantic vibes to everyone, like, because I'll just be in a happy mood going, oh, this is so wonderful. Oh, look at the little fishies. Aren't they cute? I think nearly everything's Happy Red Day. Woo! You know, I think the little fishies are so cute. I do think fish are cute. And I can think anything's cute, though. I think everything's romantic, especially today. Like, you can tell I'm already getting in the romance mood. And I've got myself a gift to go on a self-date at home with later on. So when I get home, I have bought myself a gift, which I don't know if I can reveal it today, later on, because obviously I might not be doing another live stream then. I might do it the next day and show you what my gift was to myself, because I've made sure I didn't use it yet, because if I use it, then I can't give it to myself, you see. I have to wait to give myself my gift. So you have to treat yourself like you've actually got a proper relationship with yourself. You have to care for yourself, love yourself. You have to give yourself lots of positive self-talk, you know. So I had to retrain myself to speak to myself in the mirror, to say, you know, and put post-it notes around everywhere to say you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're gorgeous, you're lovely, and, you know, do stuff like that and go, mwah, you're beautiful, Sandra. And I do stuff like that all the time now, you know, because I actually believe it. But of course I didn't believe it at first, you know, like, didn't really totally believe it. I'm like, oh, you're a little bit beautiful, maybe, at a push. But now I'm like, yeah, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, love your hair, love your eyes. Yeah, your body's like not the most like perfect body out there, but it's perfect enough for you. It's still gorgeous, you still look beautiful, you know, and your hair's nice, and, you know, and so you really have to work on your self-talk so much, you know. People are so quick to kind of compliment other people a lot of the time, but they're really slow to compliment themselves. I mean, how many times do we say to someone like really nice things to them, yet we're not nice to ourselves? And the niceness should start with us. It should start with us being kind and considerate to ourselves, taking ourselves out on dates, because we're worth it, you know. I don't care what people think of me. People don't even notice me a lot of the time. It's so funny. When I used to be in my old job, I used to talk to this guy, and when I was talking to him, it's like everyone around me was just in a different world. Literally, I could talk about anything like asexuality or whatever, and it was just like everyone around me was zoned out from me. It was like some sort of thing out of a movie. You know, when you have a superhero and only them can sort of like see what's going on around them, but they can't see the superhero, like you've got an invisible cloak or something. It was like that. It was really far out. It used to happen to me a lot, and that's because I'm so different, you know. That's not a normal thing. So I would sit here and it'd be like everyone's having their life around me, but they were completely like not even there with me. It's like I didn't even exist, which is kind of weird. But I know that I'm so different to other people that a lot of people don't accept. Well, a lot of people have to accept me because I'm there, but, you know, a lot of people wouldn't choose to be with me from my old job because they're a Harry Potter moment. Yeah, it's a Harry Potter moment. I love that, Heather. Give me a thumbs up for that. That's good. Thanks for whoever gave me the thumbs up before. But yeah, but that happened quite a lot. It wasn't just once. It was consistent. I could stand there talking, but I know it's because I have such a kind of different personality, because I'm not a robot. You know, like a lot of people, when they're in the job, they become robots. They become what the job wants them to be. They become someone who's supposed to say this, that and the other, but I don't do that, and obviously you can get into trouble for that. I mean, I was pretty much my own boss in the old job because I worked for a concession within the store. But, you know, if someone tells me to do something, you know, I'll just do what I think is right. I'm not gonna listen to other people unless it's constructive advice about the role to help customers. Do you know what I mean? you know, so I'll carry on being me. I'm not going to stop my personality. But a lot of them in there, they were just like, you know, it's like they got told scripts to say to customers, and they would just churn it out, even sometimes to the staff. And it's like if something happened, that reminds me of in some movies where you see a character standing still or walking slowly, everyone is moving at high speed around them, seeming to not notice them. Yeah, they've got one like that in, what am I thinking of? Those characters where they're not normal. They're the abnormals of society. X-Men. Yeah, it's very much like X-Men. I don't know if you've seen one of the X-Men. I've got one of the X-Men. And basically there's this guy that actually slows down time, nearly freezes it, and he's rushing around while the building's on fire or whatever, getting everything out the way, or is it being blown up or on fire or both, and he's getting everyone out the way. And it's kind of like that moment where the time is almost frozen and everyone around you is just like they're in another world. And I used to have that a lot, and I used to be speaking to my one friend, and I said, can you see it? I said, look, it's like I don't even exist, which is sometimes why I feel completely strange and odd, even more than I usually do, because it's like, it really is like I'm in a parallel universe or something. But then it's like, oh, well, Sandra, it's your universe, isn't it? If people don't want to join you, that's their problem. You know, I find my own life fun, to be quite honest, because I live my life very much how I want to live it now, which is why I'm so much happier. Like when I was filmed for the Asexual documentary this week on Monday, she goes, oh, it's really nice filming you because you're always so happy. Like, she watched some of my live streams as well. She goes, you're always so happy, you know? And I said, yeah, I really am happy, you know, because I'm living my teenager lifestyle, got a 21st mindset, living how I want to live, got my bedroom all like teenagers, 15-year-olds, and life is good, you know. Life is about living your life the way you want to live it, not other people's. And so many people are so worried about what other people think. And I get it, because I kind of used to be worried more about things, you know, and people are staying their home because they can't go out because what will people think of them about their weight and their height and what they look like and about their personality. Who gives a stuff in monkeys what they think? It's not their life, it's your life. Each person on this planet has been blessed with their own individual character traits, personality, looks. No other person on this whole planet is exactly the same as you. No one. And that's for a reason, because we're all born to be different and to stand out in our own right. And some people will choose to stand out in their own right for their own reasons, or people will stand out for the wrong reasons of not wanting to stand out. Because even when you don't want to stand out, you still stand out as not wanting to stand out, you know. Even if you've got anxiety or depression, someone who hasn't got that will notice, you know, because I used to have that. Anxiety I do still have some of, so other people will notice that, you know. Especially if you've got it a lot. I used to have it a lot, you know, in the past. I'm not so bad now, but you know, if you're depressed all the time, other people around you will notice that, you know. And sometimes people's anxiety and depression is because they're worried about what other people think, when actually it's kind of still causing the situation, because of course people are going to know you're different because you're depressed, and not everyone's going around being depressed. So whether you're yourself and happy or depressed and not happy, you're always going to be different. You're always going to stand out. So stop fearing standing out. That's what I'm trying to say. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of the individual person that you have become, that you can become. Any time in your life you can change it, right? Anytime. Don't think, oh, you're too old to do it, because, you know, I didn't change my life till 2012. I mean, what, we're in 2019 now. That's only like, what, not good at math, 7 years ago. But I wasn't in my birth certificate age. That's not particularly young. It's younger. But, some people get to a certain age and they're like, oh, it's too old. But it's never too old to change, you know. Some people are like my dad. He's running a non-profit business, which he started back up at 72 years old. He's 73 going on 74 this year. So he's doing that, and he's doing blacksmithing courses. He retired blacksmith, and now he does proper blacksmith courses from people all around the world. So blacksmithing is not shoeing horses. It's actually making things in metal. And he does weekend courses. And he does one-to-one courses in the week for people with special needs. And people come from Japan, Australia, Middle East even sometimes, all over the place. To his courses, he's nearly fully booked up. He's like doing a proper whole business, but obviously as he's a non-profit, he plows money back into things and gives money to people. He pays for scholarships for some people to do kids to do blacksmithing scholarships and stuff like that. So, do you know what I mean? It's non-profit, but I mean, it's just like he's, you know, his age. People will be like, well, why are you starting up, like doing a whole business, even though it's a non-profit at your age? Because he can, keeps his brain active. You know, he needs to do that for his own health. Because if he wasn't doing that and he was just sat like a couch potato, I'd tell you my dad's brain would deteriorate fast, and so would probably his body. But I mean, even my dad's legs, you know, he's got like a 40-year-old's legs. It's like, because I've got really baby soft skin, and my parents are both younger looking than their birth certificate ages. So I'm lucky in that respect. They both look much younger. And, you know, and my dad like pulled his trouser leg up. He's like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, you look like your legs are 40. And you're 70, like, 3 now. And it's like, you know, your legs, like, they're like 32 years younger than they are. I hope I still have legs looking like that. And I'm his birth certificate age, which is like, yeah, nearly half a whole life away. But yeah, it's like, whoa, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what age you are in life. Don't think, I mean, you can't change, because I thought having depression throughout most of my childhood, not all of it. I wasn't a manic depressant, so I had times when I wasn't depressed. I had some Christmases I used to love. In general, I got on well with my parents at Christmas. Christmas was always a lovely time. I've always loved Christmas going forward. There was a few times that, you know, like if I was playing board games with my parents, that was nice. So not everything was bad. But, you know, when you're depressed, you kind of like remember a lot of the bad stuff more than anything else. And because I had that growing up through like primary school and secondary school and going into adulthood, I honestly thought it was something I'd never get rid of. I never thought I'd get rid of it. It's only my fibromyalgia that actually snapped me out of that. It was only in 2012 when, after 6 months of coming to terms with fibromyalgia, I suddenly realised that if I had the same mindset and carried on with that, then I would literally be on crutches or in a wheelchair like people are with fibro, because I would be that depressed in my mind, it would filter throughout my whole body and I wouldn't be able to move very much, and I'd be bedridden like I'm a lot of people with fibro. But you'll notice I'm completely different. If you look up the symptoms of fibro and one of them is they have no energy, look at me, I'm completely different, because I don't take meds either, you know. And it was just like, you know, 6 months it took me to come to terms with that. 6 months from January to July, and it was like mind-blowing, because it's like I've got a disability for life. It's like, oh God, it's like you can either hate your life, hate yourself, but if you do that, I knew instantly that was going to cause me pain throughout all my body, and that I was going to end up losing my mobility. And I'm like, you can't do that. You do that and it will be like being in prison, and then you'll be really depressed, I'm telling you. So I'm like, you're not doing that, you know, because I'm a very extrovert person, very active and lively. Obviously you can still change. Even if you do lose your mobility, you can still try and get it back, but it's a lot harder. I mean, my grandma, who's not no longer with me, she went into a nursing home. They wouldn't let her get out of her wheelchair. And then when a new nursing home person took over, they said, oh yeah, she could have got out of it, but because she didn't, she's lost the use of her legs now because they're too weak to lift her up, you know. So if she'd actually done some exercise and got out of it when she first came in the home, she'd be fine, but she's not anymore. And it's just like stuff like that. So, you know, but I always believe you can change your life around, you know, because there's people that have car accidents and major things go wrong and they still recover and they still are able-bodied again. So don't give up if you are watching this now and thinking I've said what I've said, because, you know, this is how my mindset worked. It basically took me 6 months to snap me out of like, I'm never being depressed again. That's it. I cannot be that way, because it's wheelchair and crutches for me if I do that. Do I want a wheelchair and crutches? No. Do I want to be bedridden? No. It's not who I am. I'm not prepared to do that ever in my life. It's like you stick 2 fingers up to it. Do you know what I mean? And so that's the way it was for me. And in that moment, everything changed. Bang, just like that. And it just changed. It just snapped me out of it. It's like, it was like the most trauma I ever experienced, in terms of like, you either do this or you end up on crutches or a wheelchair and have your legs basically use taken away from you. Which one do you want? Life or death? I mean, I wouldn't actually be dead, but I would be having a life where I would feel like, you know, there wasn't so much to life. But obviously, if I was in that situation, then I'd adapt. So my philosophy is that even though I've got mobility now, because I know, you know, people with fibro can get worse, I live my life now to the max. So I know that if I ever do get that bad, that I have to be on crutches or in a wheelchair in years to come, that I have lived my life max to the fullest now. So that, you know, if I do come to that, which I hope it never does, but if it does, because I'm aware that's what can happen to some people, then, you know, then I know I've had full mobility now, done everything I can possibly do to have my best type of life while I'm here to live it. And I'll have no regrets. But what I would have regretted is if I'd stayed depressed, and then I would have lost the mobility sooner, and I wouldn't have put up any fight, and I wouldn't have tried to stay not getting into that state. So that is my philosophy in life. You know, you have to deal with whatever. And, you know, I've been to see Nick Vujicic, I think that's his name. It's a really hard word to pronounce. And he has no legs and no arms. And I have seen him live in London. If you look on the internet, it's a really weird spelling though. This guy, actually, it's on my Quirky Books TV channel. I record him speaking live and I edit it for about 45 minutes. And he gives this really inspirational speech. I might link it down below, actually, after this video. And yeah, and it's all about hope, and it's how his life is with no legs and no arms. And he just has one flipper foot, and he goes around speaking motivationally to all the world, you know, or all around the world. And he has no arms. He was born like that, you know, and he just has like a torso. And I wanted to see him. My boss gave me a bank holiday off to go and see him, which I wasn't usually allowed bank holidays off. I said, please, this guy's over here. He never comes over to the UK. I need to see him. It's really important that I see him. And it was just so inspiring. You know, he's got a wife. He's got 2 children. He can still have sex, even though obviously I'm not interested in sex. But just because you have a major disability like that doesn't mean to say you have to be completely disabled in your life and your mind. Do you see what I mean? You have to adapt to whatever life throws at you. So yes, I am fully aware that what could happen to me, but I will damn well do my hardest to make sure it doesn't. And if it does, then I'll deal with it at the time, knowing that I have lived my life to the fullest before. And, you know, but I could have skipped all these years of my life, carried on being depressed, and I don't even think I would be standing up with all this energy right now if I'd have carried on the way I was going at all. In fact, I know it, because I know what you think about expands. And the more you think about pain, misery, death, the more your body hurts like hell, because it's going through hell. You're torturing it from the inside. Do you see what I mean? So the sooner you realise you have to stop torturing yourself, and you have to stop the pain inside yourself for your own good, because you decide to love yourself and decide, no more am I going to take this rubbish. There's only me that can change it in life. It's what you have to do. And I know I'm saying this now, and I know if you're depressed, you know, you do see therapists. It's good. Psychologists, you know, anyone who will help you, it's great. You know, get a good one, because obviously I didn't have a very good counsellor years later when I was told that, you know, I had to have sex in order to keep a good guy. So, you know, if you do get a professional helping with you, I think it's good to get professionals helping. It's good to talk through things, but they don't always understand your circumstances. But remember that, you know, that love comes from within. You know, love comes from within, and you've got to strive to have that love within you, because only then will it overflow into all your cells, and only then will you be happy. So you have to stop saying to yourself, I'm not gonna, you know, why should I say nice things to myself? Why should I love myself? Why should I kiss myself? Because you're worth it. If you don't think you're worth it, why should anyone else think you're worth it? You know, you have to get these things coming from within. You have to value your own worth. You know, you're not going to be perfect. Your body's not going to be perfect. Your skin's not going to be perfect. Your face is not going to be perfect. Everything you say is not going to be perfect. You know, you'll have weaknesses as well as strengths. That's part of everyone's personality. It's what makes them different. You know, if we were all perfect on everything, we'd all be replicas of each other. And it wouldn't be perfect anyway, because there'd be no differences, and we'd be bored like hell. Do you know what I mean? So you have to, you know, understand that your difference is your beauty. That you are perfectly capable of living a full, happy and active life, loving who you are. But until you get to that place of self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, you're not going to live the fullest life you can. I know that, it's wonderful once you've got self-love. It really is wonderful. And I know it's really hard if you're not in that place in your head, if you're not in that place in your head right now where you don't think it's possible to love yourself. But believe me, it is. And you just have to think, you just have to sit there and talk to yourself, just have a conversation with you. Pretend that you are a different person, right? Take your mind out of your body and talk to yourself like you're two separate people. So you're here in physical body, and then so if it's me, I've got the Sandra here now, right? And then I've got the Sandra that's the brain part of Sandra that's coaching me, yeah? So a coach is someone that encourages someone, like a football coach, someone that eggs them on, encourages them in a good way, tells people to go for it, tells them, I've got your back, I'm all right, and especially if you're single and especially if you live on your own, you've got to have your own back. You have got to protect your own safety at all costs. You have to look after yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to. It's up to you, and you have to cherish that time that you look after yourself. You have to look at it as a responsibility. And if you can't bear to think about it yourself, just take yourself out yourself. Pretend you're like two different people if you have to. Pretend for example, this is the Sandra. This is the Sandra who's the kind, caring friend to this Sandra here. So that the Sandra there is separate. So if you can't physically put your mind in as one with yourself because you are not a one, you hate yourself, you don't like yourself, get this, some people have imaginary friends, right? It's not as healthy to, but imagine yourself as your own best friend and you've got another version of you. So there's you in physical form and there's you in energy form, or you as in another mind, and you are telling yourself all the time the positive stuff, and that person, that one there is only allowed to tell yourself positive stuff. It just doesn't do anything else. It tells yourself positive stuff. You are the one telling you negative stuff, but this person here is telling you positive stuff. So every time this person pops up, you hear them, even if you don't want to, if you train your brain correctly to do this. So this person, this is how my brain usually works, This is a coach. This is a person saying, come on, Sandra, you're doing really well. You're doing really well. You're doing all this work. You're doing this blog, then you're doing this blog, then you're doing this newsletter, then you're doing this YouTube live stream. Because sometimes I feel like I haven't done much, but it's actually not true. But this year I'm very good. My coach is with me a lot of the time, And so if this person here is saying, oh my goodness me, I've got so much to do, I need to get a funny puppet of myself. Yeah, it's more like I actually think of it as part of me. I'm trying to describe it to you. If you want to get a puppet, fine, but I'm trying to describe it to you in showing it in a visual format, and it's the only way I can describe it. But obviously I don't put my hand out. I just know the other person's there. It's like I'm my own, because I'm at one. So when I'm not at one with my soul, right, when I'm down on myself, I'm criticizing myself, I'm doing something against my soul, I'm very intuitive. So when I'm doing something against my own soul, my soul doesn't like it, it will go away from me. Like this person here will go away. It will be more distant because she can't be with she if she and her are not aligned. Do you see what I mean? So unless we are both aligned, we can't be in perfect harmony together. And when there's outside influences, or when there's even your inner being, and it's like, oh my goodness me, I'm hating myself, I'm not liking my life, life's really bad at the moment, everything's rubbish, I don't know what's happening to me, what's going on in life, what the future holds and everything. Like this person, you see, is distant from this person. They're not together. Only when this person starts listening to this person, which is the self-love self, will they start coming together. So because this one will coach this person, this one will influence this person, this will saying, I love you. It's fine. Don't need to worry about the future now. Why are you worried about the future? You're not in the future yet, are you? And I'll be like, no, I'm not in the future yet. So why are you worried about it? Because I want to. Is it helping you? No. Is it healthy for you? No. What does worrying do to you? Makes me feel ill? Of course it makes you feel ill. So why are you doing it? Sorry. But obviously you got to be careful, because then you can criticise yourself as to why you're doing it, make yourself feel bad about yourself. And then you kind of got to go, oh, don't worry, it's okay. Give yourself a hug. See? And then that person comes to that person, it gives the person a hug. And then you can be at one with yourself more, because you're in love with yourself, and it's amazing. And yeah, it's just incredible. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling. But yeah, this person, you just have to think of them as your inner coach. And it's a good technique, because if you cannot possibly think of yourself being nice to yourself, you have to create this like other version of you. And, you know, you do it on purpose. So you do it with control. Like, it's not like, obviously, I'm not schizophrenic. I have people who are. But obviously with people who are schizophrenic, they hear voices in their head. So it's not the same as that. But you could kind of use that theory, if you do have schizophrenia, to try and help yourself by creating a personal, instead of a fictional character that's not helping you, create a fictional character that is going to help you, that can only say nice things, like you know, like you get superheroes. Create your own superhero character of yourself that is the positive version. This person only says positive things. This person will go away from you if you don't say positive, if you don't, you know, want to accept the positive things. It will go away. But then you'll feel a disconnect, because you're so used to talking to this positive person. They like become your best friend. When they go away, it hurts you a little bit. And it's like, I want my best friend back. That's me. Eventually, you'll come to terms with the fact it's part of you. But even if you don't, if you've got them coaching you, you'll become a better person, because you'll be your own coach. But sometimes that's good, because sometimes in the brain, you have to, if you're feeling really depressed, negative, you have to disassociate yourself from yourself. So what they often say is that you know, you have to fake it till you make it. And people who are depressed can't get this. They're like, why would I want to be someone I'm not? When really you're kind of being someone you're not all the time, because you're not allowing yourself to be good and positive. And yes, everyone can be good, positive, and talk nicely to themselves, but you're not allowing that. You're not allowing yourself to feel that. You're cutting yourself off from that. And so, but if you know, if you're a person who disassociates yourself from things because you don't want your brain doesn't want to take responsibility for yourself, you know, because it doesn't think it's you, and if it is you, obviously it's going to hurt you more, then create a character that is only allowed to be positive. It can't be negative. It just doesn't exist. This is Miss Positive, or Mr. Positive, or agender positive, or gender fluid positive, whatever type of, or don't associate a gender with it if gender's an issue for you. This part of you, or this, just think of it as a coach. This is your coach. And you I mean, this here, it can't be negative towards me, because it doesn't have it in it. It has no negativity towards me whatsoever. It never has done, because it can't. It just is a entity of positiveness. And it only came along when I started being positive, because I couldn't at the beginning. I couldn't get my head around being positive so much to myself, because I wasn't used to it. And in order to accept the fake it till you make it, because really your brain will just go, well, why should I fake it? Because I'm not being me. But you see, you're not being totally yourself anyway, because you're not getting to the part of you which can be positive, which is in there, but it needs rewiring. So you just have to let yourself create this being within you that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm not telling you to create anything bad. Create this good thing, because this person is in there. This person's actually your soul. You know, like, this person is actually your soul. It's who you probably, you know, if you believe in reincarnation, it's probably who you were in a previous life, the essence of you in the good part, you know. And this is like your best friend. And if you are a person who spent a long time on their own, like a lot of their childhood, like I did, you know, when you talk to yourself, you know that talking to yourself, you are actually talking to yourself. You're talking to your being. But it's like, what are you saying to yourself? But when you talk to yourself, you can actually make yourself have this other part of you that's, like I said, your coach. It's like another bit of you that's like another person in a way. And so they are always there for you. But like I said, that when you feel depressed, when you feel horrible about yourself, this will start going away from you a bit, because the positivity cannot stay all the time with the negativity, because that will become negative, wouldn't it? Because the negativity drown the positive out. So in order to protect you, it will pull back a bit. So it's still there in the background. And then you have to decide, oh, I don't like this because I'm used to this voice here now. I'm used to this. And that then becomes your comfort zone. So what originally was your comfort zone in being depressed was, because really, depression is something you get so used to. It's like depression becomes your friend when actually it's your enemy. But you don't see it like that. You see it as your best. You see depression as your best friend. It's a way of life. It becomes a part of you. It becomes part of your soul. And you kind of, it feels familiar, so it's comfortable. And people don't ever talk about this because they don't understand it. They don't understand how depression can actually be so hardwired into you that it becomes like so familiar. It's like your best friend. It's like you lean on it for support because you don't know any different. And to actually stop being depressed can be damn scary, because you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what's out there in the wide world, because you've always had your depression to keep you company. Depression is like a person who's keeping you company that's a bad person. You know, it's this person that's telling you negative stuff about you and keeping you in a dire state. And it might be due to outside influences, family influences, relative influences. It's not all down to you. The buck lands with you though, because you're in control of yourself. But obviously, if you've got negativity all the time, you're in a negative environment, of course that's going to affect you, in which case you have to get away from that environment as much as possible and stay away from it as much as possible. But by having this person that you create, or this part that you create, it allows you to free yourself from depression by trusting in it. But you might not trust it first of all, but you just have to understand that you are creating it, and that if you so if you have some counselling therapy, it is good if you get the right therapist. They should be telling you to write down stuff that's positive about yourself, right? So they should be telling you to list down positive traits. And of course, if you suffer depression, you'll probably go, there's no positive traits about me. But you have to look for them. You have to make yourself, like, pretend you are a teacher, right? And you've got this great big blackboard with a piece of chalk, and your teacher is saying and putting you on the spot in front of the whole class, what are your positive traits? And if you don't say any positive traits, I don't know, you'll have detention for like 10 hours or something, or you'll have your worst nightmare, a spider running over your face or something. I don't know, make it frightening so it pushes you into doing something. And then you're like, oh my God, I have to say it. And you have to force yourself to say good things about yourself. You have to pretend you're not yourself and look at yourself from an outsider's point of view. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's why I'm saying about this coach, because it helps you to be outside yourself. Because if you're depressed and your depression is your best friend, you don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go because it's comfortable to you, even though it's hurting you. So you have to create this other being where they can be like your friend and you can talk to them for some moral support. They're like your own best friend. They are the person you talk to when you're talking to yourself. And so it's actually quite healthy to talk to yourself if you're talking to yourself in a positive way or the right way, or you've got this person who's like you but a friend version of you, you know? And you probably do know in your heart of hearts and your deep thinking, because you're probably a really deep thinker if you're a depressed person, that you know in your heart of hearts that this person does exist. You know it does. But you might not have thought about it before, because people don't live in the subconscious, they live in the conscious world. They don't really think so much. But this person can be your own best friend. And once this person starts becoming your own best friend, the more they become your own best friend and good, I'll end up clinging to that. And so the depressed person that's been holding you back and down in your life will start to go away more, because you'll be, hang on a minute, I feel more comfortable with this person now. This person's telling me good stuff. And you have to monitor your mood. So it's like, okay, well, when I'm talking to this person, I'm happier. When I'm here, I'm not happier. When I'm talking to this person, I'm happier. Here, not happier. So when I get out of bed today, do I want to be happier or unhappier? Happier or unhappier? But you should always be gravitating towards happiness, because why would you want to be unhappy unless you want to torture yourself mentally? Why would you want to be unhappy? You don't. People don't want to be unhappy. They want to be happy. And you have to realise that you have to be happy in your own life, living it for you. So I live, you know, I live in a bedroom that's like a 15-year-old's. Do you know? Like, that's why I like younger guys as well, because most guys who come in this bedroom, if they were, which they don't usually, do you know what I mean? Because I'm not interested in that. But they'd be like, oh my god, it looks like my daughter's. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it would look like. Like a teenager daughter would look like this, you know? That's why I can't really go for any guys near my birth certificate age, because to me it's like they're my dad, even though they're literally not. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm so far apart in the way I live my lifestyle. But you have to truly live your life for you, and you have to stop living it for other people, and you really have to see your beauty. You have to look in the mirror and see your beauty. And like I said, if you cannot possibly like yourself as you have to create this other version of you that will be the positive light. And it's literally, it's only made of positive stuff. It can't be anything else. So it either goes away from you or it's there with you, depending on whether you want it or not. But once you start getting used to it, or get more and more, you'll start noticing it once it's gone, and you'll be like, something's not quite right here. I don't feel quite right. What am I doing wrong? And then you'll notice that you're not talking good to yourself, and then you'll be like, oh, I need to get back to that. And sometimes, like with me, it might be just that I've done so much stuff that's made me feel not so good lately, or had negative thoughts, and it means I might have to spend like a couple of days just watching movies and chilling out for a couple of days, because that soul there is really like the positive. It's kind of an adult but a kid in me, so I kind of have like a kid in me as well. And if I'm not nourishing the kid in me, the teenager within inside me, it will play up. It will be like, well, where's playtime? You're doing all this stuff, where's playtime? And that goes back as well to what I was saying about my fibromyalgia. Like, I live for me now, you know. Like, if potentially I could end up on crutches in a wheelchair years later in my life, heaven forbid it ever happens, I'll do everything in my power to stop it. I need to nourish my child now. I need to live in the moment now. So years ago, I always used to be living in the future, like save for the future, think about the future, don't go out much, don't do much. But now I'm the opposite a lot of the time. But obviously I've got to conserve money. But I am a lot of the time wanting to live life to the max, because I'm thinking, you don't know how long your legs are going to stay like that, Sandra. You don't know how long you're going to have all your energy that you've got, that you have. Hopefully it'll be forever. You don't know. You could, something could happen to you tomorrow. Something could go in your back, or, anything could happen to anyone. So you have to live your life now for you. And, if you don't live a happy life, then it's not good for you. You need to live a happy life. And because I know my mindset, my happiness and how I feel is directly related to my pain. So I know that if I start getting depressed, I will be the cause of my own, my own need for a wheelchair or crutches. That'll be my response. I don't want that, because it's not who I am. Not prepared. I'm not prepared to let that person do that to themselves. So anyway, I hope you found this very useful, helpful, insightful for you. It's been a very different session, one that's probably quite far out for people, especially if you're not spiritual or used to changing your mindset in a neuro-linguistic programming way, or used to the concept of different parts of your mind and different compartments of your mind. I know it's kind of mind-blowing for people to listen to this, but hopefully, even if it helps one person that's depressed, who honestly doesn't understand. I've always done that. Oh, bless you, Michael. What, had different compartments in your mind, or had a friend part of your mind? It's really important. It's really important. I've always had another part of me since a kid, but I didn't really realise they were totally my best friend. I've instinctively looked at my own thoughts. It's good. Yeah. You have to just make sure that they're positive. It's really hard for me to describe, but I've tried to describe what it's like for a depressed person, because I really think people get used to being depressed, and it becomes like depression's their friend, and I don't think they realise that, because it's a like depression, although it's really bad and unhealthy and horrible for you. Sometimes if you're having a lot of pain from family, friends, people around you, your depression becomes like your friend in and of itself, because it's the only thing that understands you, because it is you being inside you at that moment. It's really weird. I know what I mean. I hope I've described it well, because I just want people who are depressed to know that I understand them, and I really hope that they can, if they're with therapists and everything like that maybe they can talk to them about, like having this concept of a part in your mind where you have this positive coach and you start coaching yourself, and that person isn't yourself. It is you. I mean, you can be happy that it is you later on, but you kind of have to think it's not you, because if you thought that was you, you wouldn't allow yourself to be happy, because when you're depressed, you jeopardize yourself. You're like, why should I be happy? Who likes me? When I'm thinking about things, I recognize which thoughts are coming from which part, and remember which ones are reliable and which ones are unreliable. Oh, that's really good, Michael. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming out, and I'm proud of you for being able to do that. That means you're a very conscious thinker. You think in conscious thoughts, so you can probably distinguish between your subconscious and conscious brain, so you can reprogram things when you want. It's really good. I do think asexuals probably have a slightly different brain to people who aren't, to a certain extent, because we do automatically think different to how most of the world thinks, and that actually is a superpower that a lot of people don't realise. It's a special gift, because being able to see sexuality in a completely different way is in of itself a gift. It is like a superpower that other people just don't understand or don't get. And when I say superpower, it's a special thing that's inside of you that is amazing. You know, it is a superpower. You know, you don't have to be Superman Clark Kent to have a superpower within you. It's your own personal superpower, because you are thinking differently. Like, what have entrepreneurs and asexuals got in common? And the answer is, we're both born to be different and to think different. That's why I like to call myself the asexual entrepreneur, because I think entrepreneurs, creative startups, all that type of thing, and asexuals, I think we're both got things in common from the point of view we both think we're both born to be different, both born to not fit in with society, and both born to think outside the box, because we just are. That's our natural way we are. And just think of all the people in between. Like, entrepreneurs who think differently are a really small percentage of the population, and so are we. So just think of all the rest of the population, the 90-something% that's just going around in this planet like robots. Just to think of it. If you think of it like that, all the people that go around like robots, you know, they programmed like little chess pieces, like little pawns in the world. Don't be a pawn. Don't be a pawn. Be the queen or the king of your own life, and make sure you dodge the checkmate. You know, but it's really important that you don't be pawns in the game, that you play the game from the outside looking in. If that makes sense. So you're like on your outside looking inside you, rather than being stuck as checkmate in the middle. So it's really, really important that you do that in your life, and that you're not pawn player, you know. A pawn as in a chess pawn, not a pawn as in pornographic stuff, you know, a chess piece. A pawn as in following suit. But if you just think about, for one moment, like I said, think about things differently. Like you, and like I said, entrepreneurs, startups and creators, because I'm in the world of both of those, we're born to think differently. We do think differently. We're born to be different, right? So instead of resisting that, think it's great, and thank your lucky stars, because there are so many people out on this planet who are going to a normal job, going home, watching TV, getting up to do a 9-to-5 job again, just going along with everything they're told to do, just doing everything they did when they were taught when they were grown up, and they haven't thought for themselves much in life. They do exactly what they're told to do, or not, as the case might be, and get themselves into trouble. But you know what I'm saying? They're leading a very normal, mediocre, some might say boring life, or conventional life. Might not be boring if you don't think that way and you want that type of life. But, you know, it's a very conventional life, and they're just, like, literally, a lot of them are doing it to keep the species alive as well. If you think about it from a film sort of perspective, I always think about things in films and stories. You know, if you think about how many people are on this planet just to keep the population alive. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be here if people didn't have sex. A lot of us wouldn't be here. I mean, obviously, there's artificial insemination test tubes, and there'll be genetically modified people later on, and robots and all the rest of it. But there's still a large percentage of us alive, including me, because two people decide to have sex. Well, I'm very grateful for sex in that respect. I have to remember that sometimes, because my mum and dad kind of remind me of it sometimes. Like, well, If we thought like that, you wouldn't be here, basically, and I'm glad I am. But just think about how many people are just here to keep the species alive. The amount of people I know, they just get married and then 8-10 months later expecting a baby together. It's like they just get married for kids and babies. It's like, oh great, we grow up, have babies, and then we have more babies and just keep the family name and everything like that. My family name ends with me because I've not got children. I've not got any brothers or sisters, so it would just end with me. But do you see what I mean? People are just going around in their lives just like basically having babies and stuff to keep the species going, whereas we're different. We've stepped out of all that normal family convention, and we've been brave enough to step out of it and lead our own lives. Yeah, it doesn't mean to say every asexual is not going to have kids. Some will have sex to have kids by natural means, in case you didn't know that. Others won't, but it just means that we have the ability to think for ourselves and think differently, to see the world and relationships in a completely different light than what we were given from when we were born. Do you know what I mean? And we have this incredible insight, and the insight is the superpower, the insight that you have into the world that no one else can see. I mean, it literally is, isn't it? Like we're on another planet sometimes. And it's kind of like it's the ace planet, But that can be great as well, because it means that we're not just going along being robots. I mean, I can't imagine leading a robotic life like that. I'd just be so bored, and I'd be going out my mind thinking, oh, but they don't think for themselves, so they don't even notice any discomfort or problems because they're used to it and they don't think any differently. But look at us, we're like able to see all the stuff that's going on that they can't see. I said something in one of my because I used to teach for the recovery learning community. I used to teach mental ill health social media for mental ill health to help people get better. And I used to say, like, some of the people that have mental health difficulties, I'm not saying all, because some are dangerous. Some people with mental health difficulties are dangerous and some aren't. And some are dangerous to themselves and dangerous to other people, right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying it's okay to go and hurt people, right? Because I had an ex-employee that turned nasty, turned more nasty after I left, actually. Yeah, and they lost their job over it. But he was really good in this interview. 3 months after the interview, while he was out of his probation period, he started telling me about the trees he burnt down and all this other stuff that he'd been doing. So it's really important that there's people with mental health difficulties that are severely ill and that do need, probably need medication, severe help and all the rest of it. I'm not talking about those people, but I'm saying some people with mental health difficulties, actually, the mental health difficulties is not as such that they're mentally ill. It's the fact that they have the ability to see the world in a completely different way, because a lot of people with mental ill health will analyze their thoughts more. They will bring them to the conscious more. The subconscious thoughts will come to the conscious more. They'll live in their own mind. And the people that diagnose these people with mental ill health, a lot of the time there are doctors that are just going about their normal robotic day-to-day living. And so of course you're going to be slightly insane compared to their life, because they're not leading a different life. They're the robots. Do you get what I mean? So if they're the robots, then of course they're not going to tell you you're fine, because they're doing what they've been taught in their treadmill of life for years. Whereas you can think outside the box. I'm not saying that there isn't problems with you. So I'm not saying, to stop any medications. I'm not saying to not see counsellors or doctors, because I am not a medical practitioner and I would never suggest that. And I know friends who are schizophrenic, have got schizophrenia, and they are happy on their meds and they think it makes them better. So they need to stay on their meds because they believe that it's good for them and it's helped them. So that's fine. But I'm just saying that a lot of people with mental health problems, not everyone, have that embedded in their brain that they're mentally ill. But sometimes it's just that they can see a whole different side to the world that these other people can't see because they don't think like that. And because they don't think like that, they diagnose you with mental ill health because they can't see what you can see. That's what I'm trying to say. That doesn't excuse people that are mentally ill, that go around hurting people, bashing people up, murdering people, killing people. I'm not talking about those type of people. I'm talking about the people that just are different in their life. The ones that feel a bit left out because they don't go with the crowd. They don't do what everyone else is doing in their life because they don't agree with it, and they don't just sit there and go along with everything in their life, And the people that, just see things differently, like we see things differently. We don't think that, we've got to jump the bones of everyone. We don't think that we've got to go and ram our bits in each other. We think differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we have this ability to see things in a different way and feel things and think things that other people can't do. And that's why some people retaliate against it, because it goes against their uncomfortability. It goes against their comfortability and makes them feel uncomfortable. Should watch the movie Beautiful Mind. Oh, bless you. Anyway, I think I've said enough for tonight. I wish you a very, very happy International Celebrate Being Single Day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you're liking the content. Thank you so much for the thumbs up already. Happy Valentine's Day to all my asexual friends on here. Happy Valentine's Day, Michael. Happy International Celebrate Being Single Day, Michael. Happy Valentine's Day, Heather. Happy International Celebrate Being Single Day, Heather. And happy International Celebrate Being Single Day to everyone who's watching, and happy Valentine's Day. I love you all dearly. I know it's been a very different episode tonight, and I've loved every minute of it, and I hope it's helped you. Good night, Michael. Good night, Heather. Good night, everyone else who's watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the great big bell icon. There's a bell icon near the subscribe button, and that'll give you notification of every time I go live. Like now, we'll post a new video. There's been a lot of mindset stuff I've spoke about today in this video. If you notice about this channel, I try and do a lot of personal development work with you, not just talking about asexuality as a blanket concept. I try and go more into different aspects of my own asexual life in order to help you in yours, and try and help you with your mind a bit so that you are happier in your life and you love yourself more. Give yourself a hug before you go off the live stream. Hug, 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 hug. Big hugs. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. Hug, 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 hug. And I will see you on. I love to see the fish. And I'm live streaming tomorrow. For my phone it'll be, because I haven't got power. I don't have this Wi-Fi is connected to my home. I don't have a contract outside of my home for Wi-Fi on my iPad, so I'll be doing it from my phone tomorrow, so you'll see a small screen. Anyway, lots of love. Well, today now, sorry, in a few hours. Better go to bed. Bye. Lots of love.